At 11 years old, I never expected my life to change in a dimly lit basement sewing room. My neighbor Mrs. Jenkins ran a home alterations business, and one rainy afternoon my mom volunteered me to help out, after school. "She needs a model for her junior line," Mom said, shoving me toward the door. "It'll be good practice for responsibility." The first day Mrs. Jenkins handed me a pale blue dress with tiny white daisies embroidered along the hem. "Slip this on, dear," she said, threading a needle. I hesitated. The fabric felt impossibly soft between my fingers, a far cry from my scratchy school uniform. When I emerged from the dressing screen, she clucked her tongue. "We need the full effect, don't we?" Before I could protest, she'd wrapped a padded bra around my chest and tugged on a pair of white knee socks. Standing on the stool while she pinned the hem, I stared at my reflection. The dress flared slightly at the hips, and the socks had lace trim that tickled my calves. Mrs. Jenkins hummed as she worked, her scissors clicking like a metronome. "You're very still," she commented. "Most boys fidget." I shrugged, not trusting my voice. The truth was, the weight of the bra against my chest felt right, like finding a missing puzzle piece. The next week she pulled out a red velvet dress with puffed sleeves. "This one's for a Christmas pageant," she explained, tying a satin sash around my waist. When I accidentally knocked over a spool of thread, she laughed. "Careful, Grace. Can't have you tripping in front of the judges." I froze. She'd called me Grace. My real name was Tim. But somehow the name rolled off her tongue like we'd used it for years. By month 3, the basement became my sanctuary. Mrs. Jenkins kept a box of props under her workbench. Clip-on earrings, a pearl necklace, even a strawberry-scented lip gloss. One afternoon she pulled out a blonde wig. "Just for fun," she winked. The synthetic hair brushed my shoulders as she adjusted the pins. In the mirror, a girl with rosy cheeks and golden curls stared back. My throat tightened. We developed rituals. Tuesdays meant tea parties after fittings, me in a frilly apron serving imaginary guests. Fridays were dress-up days, where we'd experiment with different looks. Once she painted my nails a shimmering silver. "Your hands are so delicate," she said. "They'd look lovely in gloves." I bit my lip to hide a smile. The secret almost unraveled one evening when my dad dropped by unexpectedly. I'd forgotten to remove the lip gloss. "What's that on your mouth?" he asked, frowning. Mrs. Jenkins smoothly interjected, "Oh, Tim's helping me test a new fabric dye. Isn't that right, dear?" I nodded vigorously, praying my blush wasn't visible. On my 13th birthday, Mrs. Jenkins presented me with a shoebox tied in ribbon. Inside were 3 carefully folded dresses, a handwritten note, and a Polaroid of us laughing in matching hats. "For when you're ready," she said softly. That night I tried on the green one, a simple sundress with yellow daisies. Staring at my reflection, I whispered, "Hello, Grace." The name fit like a well-tailored coat. Years later, when I moved away for college, Mrs. Jenkins sent me a postcard. "Every seam has a story. Yours is just beginning." I keep it taped above my desk. Sometimes, when the world feels too loud, I slip on that green dress and remember the quiet magic of a basement sewing room, where a boy learned to stitch his heart into something beautiful.